Now Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, she started crying. Natural grief and sadness. And she ran outside crying out loud, Rasulullah is dead. Rasulullah is dead, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The companions were in a state of shock. Some did not even want to believe that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam died, and they threatened to kill anyone who claimed so. Anas ibn Malik said, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, this faithful servant, there was no happier, brighter, a better day that we have ever witnessed other than the day than Rasulullah entering Medina. And there has not ever been, we have never witnessed a more awful, darker day than the day that Rasulullah sallam passed away. Umar ibn Khattab, this great man who demonstrated all his life extreme valor and courage and power, he almost fell to the ground unconscious. Stunned he was, and he cried out loud. Some hypocrites claim that Rasulullah had died, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And he said he did not die. Instead, he went to his Lord in the same manner that Moses ibn Imran went to his Lord for 40 nights and then he came back. And he said, although people claim that Moses died, but Moses came back, and Rasulullah will come back and cut the hands and legs of anyone that claims otherwise. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. But the wise, intelligent, bright, smart, intellectual, who is he? Abu Bakr as-Siddiq ibn Abi Quhafa. He immediately, when he heard of the news, left his house on his beast, rode immediately to the masjid. Not a single word to any living soul. Dismounted his beast, his animal, went directly into Aishatu's abode, radiyallahu ta'ala anha, where Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was lying down, covered with a Yemeni mantle. He goes up to him, he uncovers him, he tended down, kissed him on the forehead, and he started crying. He started what? Crying. Again he started crying. And he said, I sacrificed my mother and father for you, Rasulullah. Allah will not cause you to die twice. What did he say? There's a very important derivative in this statement. Allah will not cause you to die twice. You have certainly experienced the death that has been written for you. Why would he have said that? Zaki, what do you understand when Abu Bakr said, Allah will not cause you to die twice? What do you think? Huh? You want Nazvi to help you? He's dying to, he's trying to raise his hand, but he's controlling himself. What do you reckon, Nazvi?
That he won't come back as Umar claimed.
Okay. Acceptable. Anyone else? Allah will not cause you to die twice. You have certainly died the death that has been written for you. He is making it clear for the ummah because he heard what is happening outside. He can see the havoc and the chaos in reality, the hysteria. So he's saying, you have died, Ya Rasulullah. You are only a human being. Ins, a human, a mortal. Then he leaves the room, goes outside and says, Umar, addressing the community. He said, Ya Umar, sit down. Umar refused. Again, Ya Umar, sit down. Umar again refused. So Abu Bakr turned to the people and started addressing them. So when the people heard Abu Bakr, they all left Umar and went to whom? To Abu Bakr. Even Umar himself then and there became silent and started listening attentively to her, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. And this signifies leadership. This signifies khilafah, succession. That he is the man to be Khalifa after Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. A major sign there, among many signs. So Umar listened to what Abu Bakr had to say. And Abu Bakr said his famous words. من كان يعبد محمدا فإن محمدا قد مات. ومن كان يعبد الله فإن الله حي لا يموت. Whosoever worship Muhammad, Muhammad is dead. He's a human being, a immortal. He's making realize the realization that Rasulullah was only a man. And then he said, but whosoever worshipped Allah, Allah is alive. And death does not touch him. And then he said his famous verse, that shook the ground where the companions were walking on. Who knows the verse? From Surah Ali Imran, verse 144. Who knows the verse? حياك الله شيخ إن شاء الله. Who knows the verse? No one? Earlier on you were scholars. What happened? You answered the questions very, very strongly and perfectly. He mentioned the verse وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ أَفَإِنْ مَاتَ أَوْ قُتِلَ انقَلَبْتُمْ عَلَى أَعْقَابِكُمْ وَمَنْ يَنْقَلِبْ عَلَى عَقِبَيْهِ فَلَنْ يَضُرُّ اللَّهَ شَيْئًا وَسَيَجْزِي اللَّهُ الشَّاكِرِينَ. Ali Imran, verse 144. Listen to the translation or the interpretation of the meaning. Muhammad is no more than a messenger, and many messengers passed before him. If he dies or is killed, do you then turn back on your heels as disbelievers? And whosoever does so, not the least harm will he do to Allah. And Allah reward those who are grateful. These words, basic, sacred, noble, glorious, uncreated words, had such a soothing effect on the companions, reminding them that only Allah is the ever-living, the everlasting, the ever-existing. Not the shirt that we wear around on our bodies, everlasting. It's nonsense. You know the shirts that people wear? What's it made in London? Where you come from, I'm correct? Everlasting? You know shirts everlasting? You've never heard of it before? You've never heard of it before? Everlasting. The brand, you've heard of it? This is not acceptable. Because the only everlasting is whom? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the only one that death does not touch. كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام. All that is on it will perish. Everything, animate or inanimate. The only one that does not die, death does not touch, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Abdullah ibn Abbas, when he heard this verse from Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, he said, Wallahi, he said, when we heard this Quranic verse, it was as though we have never heard this verse before. And everyone started reciting the verse after Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Umar ibn Khattab, who was so stunned by his death, he almost lost consciousness. Upon hearing this verse from Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, he said, my legs could not carry me anymore. So I fell to the ground. And only then I realized that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam had really died. And this, in a nutshell, in a very, very extreme, small nutshell, is the death of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Why are we mentioning this? Because what's going to come after, it implies it.